Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a very first look at the brand new JDM Jewels car pack. The easiest way to go and purchase this new pack is to head to any house or festival site here in Horizon 5, go to the buy and sell tab and then go over to car packs where you'll be greeted with this latest JDM Jewels car pack containing 4 vehicles: the Mazda Autozam, the Nissan Stagea, the Toyota Sera, and the Mitsubishi Montero. It's priced at $3.99, so it's just under £1 per car, or equivalent wherever you may be located. Let's start by looking at the awesome little Autozam AZ-1, which is technically sort of a Mazda, but sold under the Autozam brand. You may notice the cassette player has Mazda written on it. I do love these little cars, but in case you've not really been aware of them previously, they are a tiny rear-engine sports car fitting within the Japanese K-car restrictions, which is why it is quite so small, and why it is fitted with a tiny 660cc engine, producing just 63 horsepower and 85 Nm of torque, and being so small it weighs just 720 kilos. As you'd expect then, although this thing is incredibly fun to drive, it isn't exactly fast, and therefore has a rating in the middle of D-Class at just 450 from standard. It is still a rear-engine sports car with gull-wing doors though, however slow it is. The Autozam is available in 2 manufacturer colours, the blue that I've gone for on mine, and the very iconic red. It does also have advanced painting options, so if you wanted to paint the top half in a different colour, a sort of yellow for example, then you can do that and leave the bottom half silver, or indeed paint it a different colour like black. The customization for the Autozam doesn't stop at paint colours. There are several front bumper options, there's a Mazda option, a Mazda Speed option, and that. There are also 2 wing options, the Mazda and the Mazda Speed, not counting that. And there is a Mazda and a Mazda Speed bonnet. I'm not going to apply any immediately though, because that's not all. Over here we also have a body kit, so we can wide body the Autozam, and if I was to do that it does unfortunately mean there are less options here. There is then only the Mazda, we lose the Mazda Speed option, but we don't for the rear wing, so I am going to equip that, and the Mazda front, just to kind of show you what this thing could look like. There are also several engine swaps. There's an inline 4, an inline 4 turbo rally, a racing V6 and a racing 3-litre inline 6 turbo. You can of course also all-wheel drive swap it. There are also your usual tyre compounds, tyre widths, no track width options, but you can increase rim size if you so wish. Then you have all of your usual drivetrain options, platform and handling options, and engine upgrades. Out of interest, if you're going to take full weight out of the car, it brings weight down to 632 kilos, which is just ridiculous. What I am going to do though, as it's wide-bodied, is increase the tyre width to sort of make it look a bit more sensible for the time being. I do think though that this probably has potential as a car to use in B-Class, so we may have to come back and look at some tunes at some point. Next, let's head off-road with the Mitsubishi Montero, sold under other names in different markets. For example, it's badged as a Shogun in some places. It produces 276 horsepower and 348 Nm of torque from a 3.5-litre V6 engine, but does weigh nearly 2 tons, meaning overall it's also rated way down in the middle of D-Class at 457 from standard, marginally higher than that Autozam. The Montero is available in 3 manufacturer colours, a red, a silver, and the white with the Evolution livery on it, which is the one I've gone for. Again, there are several visual mods for this. We can put some Mitsubishi front lights on, or a Forza bash bar with spotlights. We can also add a Forza rear wing, which looks horrible, and a Mitsubishi rear bumper that removes the spare wheel. There aren't though any wide bodies for this, as you may expect, but you can twin turbocharge the Evo, which it technically is, rear wheel drive swap it if you want to ruin it, or swap it with a V8 diesel, an inline-4 turbo rally, a racing 7.2 litre V8, or a racing 3 litre inline-6 turbo. Apart from that though, it is pretty much as you would expect, and being an SUV, we can also upgrade the tyre profile sizes, front and rear, as well as all of the usual stuff. Then we have our usual drivetrain options, platform and handling options, which if we do full weight reduction, brings weight down to 1,573 kilos, and usual engine upgrades. The third car in the pack is the Nissan Stagea, which I know will be a lot of people's favourite, because it's the closest thing you can get, effectively, to a Skyliner estate car. The version in-game produces 232 horsepower and 275 Nm of torque from its 2.5 litre RB35 engine, and is of course all-wheel drive. It weighs 1,620 kilos, giving an overall rating almost an entire class higher than the previous two vehicles, at C547 from Standard. The Stagea is available in quite a selection of manufacturer colours. There is a silver, a sort of darker metallic grey, the minty green colour that I've put on mine, a nice metallic red, and a white. In terms of further customisation then, on first inspection it would appear that all we can do is a Forza front splitter and that, but that isn't all. If we go over to conversion, you will notice there is a body kit, which allows us to, as you may have seen, or if you haven't seen, you may have guessed already, R34 front end swap it, which is quite a common mod, I believe, on these, and, well, normally looks kind of cool, but somehow it doesn't quite fit as well as you would hope. I don't know if it's just because the Skyliner R34 model in Forza is quite old now. But anyway, not only does it equip that front, but it does also widen the sides, changes this bit at the back of the side window to black, and gets rid of the black trim down the sides. So for now, I am going to apply that. There are also several engine swaps. There's a V8, an inline-6 twin-turbo, which I believe is the RB26, but I could be wrong. There's a racing 3-litre inline-6 turbo, and a 4-litre V8. So I hope I am correct about this. Let's put that in for now to make it more Skyline-y. There is also a rear-wheel drive conversion if you want to ruin it, and that's all for conversion. Then you have your usual tyre compound options, tyre width options, which I will do, although interestingly there's no track width, which is kind of a shame. That would make it sit slightly nicer. And we can upgrade the wheel size, but I will possibly change those, so let's not do that for now. Then you have your usual drivetrain options, usual platform and handling options, full weight reduction will bring weight down to 1,352 kilos, and you have all of your usual engine options. So for now, I'm going to go with a sort of R34 conversion on this, but I think down the line this is another one that will have potential in B-Class, so I may eventually swap this setup for a B-Class purist tune. So, although like I say, this probably has potential to have a good B-Class tune down the line, for now I've completed the look by giving it the correct wheels, or as close as I can to a Skyline, going for a midnight purple, which I've had to make myself because for some reason all the ones on the share front look quite inaccurate, have tinted windows and black wheels, which I didn't want on mine. Hello, Jaguar. I know I haven't got the colour spot on, but I think I've done a reasonable job at it. But yeah, I've gone with the wheels and the yellow calipers to sort of complete the look, put it on race suspension, dropped it all the way, brought power up to, as near as makes no difference, 800 horsepower, so it now goes like a Skyline should as well. Yeah, the front does look a little bit janky, if I'm honest. It doesn't kind of quite fit with the rest of the car, so I'm very likely to remove that, although, like I say, I'll probably equip a B-Class tune at some point, because I think it has potential. But for now, I thought I would go with it, because that's what everyone does to this thing. It does look good in this colour. And finally, let's take a look at, according to Forza anyway, the slowest car in the pack, the Toyota Sera. This is by no means supposed to be a performance car at all, really. producing only 108 horsepower and 132 Nm of torque from a little 1.5 litre engine, whilst weighing 930 kilos. It did feel incredibly slow, to be honest, particularly off the line, so it's unsurprising then that it's even lower in D-Class than the first two cars. The Sera is rated at just 447 from standard. It is though still an incredibly interesting car, particularly visually it is very unique, even incorporating butterfly doors, something later seen on none other than the McLaren F1. The Toyota also has several manufacturer colours. There's the kind of quite iconic metallic kind of frosty blue. There's what can only be described as earwax, black, red, which is what I've gone for, and silver. You may also have noticed that there are advanced paint options, which basically means you can paint the top half in a different colour. Not that I'm sure what colour you would paint it, other than black. It also includes the little panel at the rear. Rather surprisingly, this Toyota also has some visual mods. There's not much, but you can put some extra lights on the front, which I am going to do. There's also that. But yes, let's go with those. There is also Forza Horizon, which isn't quite as horrendous as usual, but I'm not going to do that. And, of course, some engine swaps. So we can put in an inline 4, an inline 4 turbo rally, a racing V6, or a racing 3-litre inline 6 turbo. We can also rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive swap the Toyota, or equip it with a turbo, a supercharger, or another supercharger. Apart from that though, it's all as you would expect. You've got your usual tyre compounds, tyre widths, which I will do. Interestingly, this does have track width options, which many of the cars don't. I'm not quite sure why that is. It has your usual drivetrain options, platform and handling options, which if we went for full weight reduction, would bring weight down to 808 kilos, which is actually pretty light. And we can also do all of our usual engine upgrades. And that is going to do it for today's video, taking a very first look at the JDM Joules car pack here in Forza Horizon 5. It's probably my favourite one so far, actually by quite a long way, because it has 4 really interesting cars in it, I think, and they all have unique customization. Some of it hasn't been implemented the best. For example, the R34 swap on the Stagea does look slightly janky to me, so yeah, it's not been done perfectly, but they do all have unique options, and they are all really cool cars. It's slightly weird that they don't have the track width option as well on a lot of them, but there we go. I still think it's by far the best pack we've seen so far, and I think all of them probably do have potential in B-Class if we were to later come back and apply some tunes. As ever though, do let me know your thoughts on this brand new car pack here in Forza Horizon 5, but for today's video that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.